Manchester City 10. I'll say that one more time. Manchester City 10. Exeter City 1.
So it's close.
Very close game.
The fact that they've even conceded 1 is jokes.
So, I mean, we'll go through it. I mean, a lot of
yeah.
players that I'll be honest, and all due respect to them, you know, I've not necessarily heard of them before. But Elaine, who came back from Watford, I believe it was, scores on the 12th minute. Yeah. Rodri, Ballon d'Or winner Rodri, scores against Exeter City, 24th minute. Then 2 own goals, Matty, before half-time. It's 4-0 at half-time. Rico Lewis scores 2. Semenyo on his debut, 54th minute goal. Rangers, O'Reilly and McAdoo score for Manchester City. And then Birch, big him up, right?
He got his moment, didn't he?
Gets his moment, gets his goal. But, I mean, there's so many ways that you can look at a result like this. You can say, brilliant, rampant Man City. They're on form. They're scoring a lot of goals here. But when you look at the lineup, the value of what Exeter City's is compared to Manchester United, who still had the likes of Trafford, Ake, Lewis, Kushanov, Rodri, Shirky, Reinders, Semenyo, and Haaland started. Man City have scored 10 and Haaland hasn't scored, Abby.
Well, that's what you want to see. We always say that, what do they do without Haaland? But, sorry, they just frustrate the life out of me.
Yeah, no, try and distract yourself.
Yeah, we always say, when Haaland's not scoring, and like we've said, he's had a little drought of late, whatever. So you want goals from all over the pitch, and like, to be honest, today, I mean, they're playing Exeter, let's be honest, but the signing of Antoine Semenyo is exactly that. You don't want to be so reliant. You want to have goals that come from a Doku, or come from a Semenyo, or come from a Foden, or come from a Marmoush. Like, you don't want to just be reliant on that, because that's when it dries up. And if you're going to try and stay in this title race, and they're lucky obviously with the result the other night, so cheers for that, helping us out. They've got to stay in it, and you need to have goals from all over the pitch. Obviously Rodri coming back as well, I think that's a massive benefit. I know they haven't actually been great since Rodri's come back, but as we kick on, the 6 points in it is so important. It could not have stretched past that 6.
When you look at it on paper, 10-1, guys, I mean, yes, we can wax lyrical about Man City, how clinical they were today in a game that, you can only beat who's in front of you. But does it devalue the FA Cup when you see a scoreline like that?
No. I don't think it does personally, because, number one, it's Exeter and it's Manchester City. The money difference within it. You could have an argument that because there's so much money at the top that it's making it less and less competitive over the years. But Manchester City, for me, have always been a side that, even if they went and thumped someone in the Premier League 5 or 6-0, on their day, you just know they can do it. Like, this is a one-off team, this era, this Pep Guardiola team. They can smash anyone on their day. And a side like Exeter, who are never really likely to compete, realistically, with the squads that they have, they should be beating them 10-1. It's only because when these smaller sides actually go into the FA Cup and they really punch above their weight level that they're able to keep these games manageable. I think, in all reality, this is how most of the games should be going. The way
Chance
City
here
have
for
paced
Aston Villa. A lot of tackles flying in all
a lot
over
of tackles.
the place here in the final stages.
And that's the hunger for the
88.
cup. That's why. But the most impressive thing about City for me in this is not just that Haaland didn't score, but 7 different goal scorers. Only one goal was repeated by Rico Lewis. Aside from that, it was all completely different goal scorers. And then, of course, the extra 2 own goals as well.
What do you make of a scoreline like that for the almost the health of the FA Cup, Matty?
I'm just glad that Macclesfield did their thing, Wrexham's did their thing. So
balanced it out.
Yeah, so we can't go and say, see, this is what people talk about. It's lost its magic. It's not the same as it used to be. But when they have put a decent, strong side there, when Erling Haaland starting, Shirky starting, they've went for it, haven't they? They've shown extra respect. They haven't went out there and played the second, third string side even that should be able to probably beat Exeter by 2 or 3 goals to 0. They're at home and they've absolutely destroyed them. And then Semenyo coming on and getting a debut goal. Yes, it's Exeter, but it's still going to give him a lift. And his new 42 shirt there dedicated to Yaya Toure. Thought that was a good touch. And he could be the difference, man, in this Premier League running. If Arsenal do drop points, it's him. And if they get a defender, then things may start getting a bit tasty.
Could you not also argue that this, in fact, validifies the FA Cup more?
Yeah.
Because if City were to just completely swap out and put a bunch of youngsters and reserve players in and be like, you know what, I don't really care, let me just take Exeter for granted, and maybe they squeak through 2-1. The fact that they've put their full-strength lineup out says, this is a big trophy. This is a big competition. We need to be trying our hardest so that when you do see the upsets, that happen, like the Macclesfield, it means more almost, because there's actually clubs, the top clubs, fighting for it and not just saying, yeah, I'll let it go and I'll fight for the league instead.
Considering that, they've got a semi-final at St James's Park in the Carabao on Tuesday, and they're starting Haaland and they're starting these big name players. And Newcastle did the same today. We put out the strongest side we could with our injuries, so everyone's still taking it serious.
Yeah, Man City threw 10-1 winners against Exeter. Let's go to Newcastle, because this was a fascinating game. I mean, it was a roller coaster. Harvey Barnes obviously gets the first goal, and we watched that together. Decent finish. But then for Bournemouth to score 2 in 6 minutes through Scott and Brooks turned the game right on its head. But the drama wasn't done yet, because as you thought they were going to bow out of the FA Cup, Anthony Gordon, 95th minute, scores a penalty. Harvey Barnes gets another one, 118 minutes. And then we were having a chat. We didn't even know what was going on. And we saw Tavernier celebrating. Mouths open wide. Couldn't believe it. 3-3. That's 7 goals conceded in the last 2 games.